excuse me, sure, it sure makes you want to stay up on stuff. That's right. That's for sure. You want to take your coat, your hat, your umbrella, and your shorts. Well, thank you so much. Well, I sure appreciate that. It's a blessing to me, I tell you that. Just doing the calls really makes me feel, well, I think I only really speak on things that I'm going through. I think some of the best messages are the messages to yourself. So I think when I share with you all, I'm really sharing with myself, because that's why I don't post a whole list of topics to be confined by a topic list. I let the circumstances, what I'm feeling and what I'm going through, create the topics for each week. All right, let me put us in record mode. Well, good morning, everyone. This is Herbert Harris, and this is actually our 79th Millionaire Mentorship call or class. And I thank you so much for being a part of it. We look forward to preparing for it every week. Many of the topics that we have covered over the week are available on our YouTube channel, which is www.herbertharris.com. That's www.herbertharris.com. And so I really would love for you to go and just click on subscribe to it, and I think it will notify you then of any new videos. There are about 60 or so there now. And love to make comments. When you listen to some of our stuff, however it impacts you, to make some comments on some of the videos, some of the thoughts. We're going to begin to collect those comments. All right, what I'm going to do, let me put the unmute there. All right, our topic for today is how to overcome obstacles. And I picked that topic because I think all of us on our particular success journeys get to a point where I think the higher we climb the success ladder, the more obstacles appear. And as you get closer and closer to your victory, to your success, the obstacles can become devastating. I often look at the analogy of climbing the success ladder as doing just that. And when you're at the bottom of the ladder, if you make a misstep and you fall, it's generally no problem. The second step, you fall maybe 2 or 3 feet, no problem. But when you really ascend the success ladder, when you get up to about that 15 feet or 30 feet high on that ladder, when you make a misstep, it can be devastating. And that is really the way it is. Often you say, well, why is it like that? Why is the success ladder, the higher you go, the more circumspect you have to be, the more knowledgeable you have to be, and that whenever you slip, it can really be tough. It can be devastating. Well, as we go up the success ladder, a part of the climbing process is to evolve and to grow. And this whole personal growth issue is incredible. When we look at, many of us are in network marketing, and we often get to levels where we plateau, where our business just stops growing. And, that can be devastating. Many of us get to a certain level where we're making comfortable income, and then it stops growing, and then you see the income going down, and there's nothing you seem to be able to do. And That's normal. The idea of success is a continuous realization of a worthwhile purpose. Let me say that again. Success is a continuous realization of a worthwhile purpose. So that the more success you have, the higher you climb up the success ladder, the more that is expected of you. You know, it is said, to whom much is given, much is expected. And so to whom he or she who ascends the ladder, the higher you get, the closer you get to your goals, the more is expected of you. You have to become a better person. You have to organize your time better. You have to change your attitude. You have to make changes in almost every aspect of your being to overcome the obstacles that present themselves. And so very often when an obstacle appears, that in itself frightens some people. I mean, there are some people that the moment there's an obstacle, and you never know what the obstacle may be. The obstacle may be you planned a major event and nobody showed up. Okay, the obstacle may be that you've presented and presented and presented and nobody came into business. You know, the obstacle may be you try to develop a relationship or improve relationships within your friends or family circle, and it just doesn't happen. And so, why do obstacles appear? Obstacles appear to give you a chance to grow. In other words, obstacles and challenges are necessary for you to grow. So, when an obstacle appears, don't see it as an impediment to your progress, but see it as a challenge to your resources. In other words, convert stumbling blocks into stepping stones. I'll say that again. We want to convert stumbling blocks into stepping stones. So what are some of the ways that we have to look at that? Well, you know, first, to change our challenges, our obstacles into challenges, we have to first, you know, change our attitude toward the situation. You know, very often when we look at a situation, don't let your first thought be a negative one. Don't let the first thought be, oh my goodness, this is terrible. You know, one of the things that I love to do is when an obstacle appears, I like to use the word situation. You know, if you call it a problem, then, you know, all problems may not be solved. So if you call it a situation, then that gives an implication of that you can negotiate, that you can work with it, that you can rise to the occasion and overcome. There are obstacles within and without. And I'll tell you folks, the obstacles that are most challenging, that are most devastating, are the obstacles within. So often we literally live our lives with our hands cuffed behind our backs. What do I mean? When we look at some of the obstacles within, let's look at them. What are the obstacles within that keep you from changing, that keep you from overcoming whatever the challenge is that confronts you? And, you know, the main obstacle is fear. And so whenever, you know, fear appears, and we like to look at fear as false evidence appearing real. And I'll say that again. Fear is false evidence appearing real. And so when we have these inside obstacles, that fear can keep us from moving past it. Let's look at some of the fears. You have a fear of change. You know, we can get so stuck in our present situation that we think that that's all there is. I think there's a song that says, "Is that all there is?" And, you know, that develops into complacency, acceptance. And all of you on this call, you don't get up this time of morning to listen to a call or to participate on a call if you're totally happy with your condition, that everything is going just, and you don't want any changes in your life. So the fact that you're on this call means that you're already looking to change some aspect of your life, of your business, of your relationships, to make tomorrow better than today. The fear of change, then the fear of criticism. You know, when we are confronted with obstacles and we look around us, so many times we let ourselves be bound by the possibility that other people will criticize us. And, you know, I call this the family problem. You know, criticism from the guy across the street that you don't know and that you've never seen before and probably will never see again will have absolutely no impact. But criticism from people you see every day, from friends you see every day, from family, from teachers, from coworkers, criticism from these people can literally paralyze you. You know, when we step into the realm of leadership, one of the first things that leaders have to accept and realize that criticism comes with the job. That the moment you lift your head above the group and look down the road to try to see the next step, the next opportunity, and begin to formulate a plan for how to get there, somebody's going to criticize you. But, you know, I have never seen a statue erected to a critic. You know, statues are erected to people who take the risk, who take the change, who face the obstacle, and who will refuse to be stopped. Who, when a wall appears, you know, the leader is the one who finds a way to climb up on that wall and then thanks the universe for the wall, because now, having climbed the wall, they can see further. Okay? Wherein the critic will stand there and just talk about how unfair it is for that wall to be there and that this shouldn't happen to them. And then when you, a leader, decide to make a plan to climb up on that wall, the critic will stand there and say it doesn't work. Many times that type of negative vibration stops you because people don't like to be criticized. I mean, you just don't like it. So that fear of criticism will undermine you and keep you from facing a challenge and facing an obstacle. The fear of failure. You know, every great inventor has failed. Anybody who has attempted to do anything great has failed and failed and failed. You literally fail your way to success. And so the fear of failure can paralyze you. And, you know, once again, it's often that surrounding of people close to you that fear of failure is so, you might say, binding. You know, family and friends have a way of reminding you of every past failure. You know, I know my mom used to, I was always a kid that was trying to make stuff, you know, and I had a chemistry set. I actually had a Bunsen burner in my playroom, and I was building this and making that in chemistry, and every time I had a mishap, little minor thing like, you know, setting the curtains on fire or causing a minor explosion out back, my mother used to remind me of that every time I wanted a new piece of equipment, every time I wanted to do something different. And it really stymied me, you know, and I forgive her. I mean, she was really just trying to look out for me. But I trusted all of you in your lives. I guarantee you that there's some person that you love, some person that you care about that reminds you of your past failures. I mean, even to the point of saying, you know, I don't want you to be hurt again. Don't try that flying stuff, okay? You know, you tried to fly before, and you crashed and burned. You got involved with this company, you got all excited, and you were putting in your money, your time, and traveling and then the company went down through the tubes, and you crashed and burned. And so don't try anything again. You just stay here in this rut until somebody finally closes in the front of that rut and the back of that rut, call it a grave, and throw some dirt on you. So these internal obstacles are the ones that bind us. Let's look at some of the other obstacles. How about doubt? You know, when you begin to go up that success ladder, and when the obstacles appear, then there can be that doubt, that negative emotion of doubt, where it undermines your self-confidence, where you don't think you can do it. And, you know, I think Henry Ford said, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And so the moment doubt comes in, doubt is the enemy of belief. Yeah? And doubt is like the cancer on faith. And so when you meet obstacles, if you doubt your ability to overcome them, then they will be victorious over you. In our business, a major, major, major obstacle to our success is rejection, the fear of rejection. And so when we have that negative emotion, that fear of rejection, it is like a prison, because one of the great things about a job is you don't have to worry about the fear of rejection. As long as you show up on time, do whatever is necessary to keep the job, and leave when it's time to leave, you don't have to worry about rejection. But you're also only going to be paid just enough to keep you from quitting. When you go in business for yourself, then you are literally putting yourself on the battlefield. You're putting yourself out there where people can say yes or no to whatever your offering is. Even when when you start to, as a trainer, as a teacher, people can say yes or no to the message that you're giving. And so the fear of rejection, if there was one thing that destroys your success in network marketing, and in fact in any business, and in fact in life, it's that fear of rejection, because it causes you to do things of limitation and do things that really bind you up so that you cannot move forward. Another fear that impacts us is the loss of love can keep you from overcoming obstacles. Many people live their lives looking for and seeking the approval of others. And when obstacles appear, then one of their guiding principles is, will you still love me tomorrow, as the song says. And when you use that external frame of reference for your own feeling about yourself, you've literally given your power to someone else. So the fear of the loss of love, I have seen in our business, in our industry, where one spouse really, really, really wanted to do the business and was quite good at it, but where the other spouse had absolutely no desire for the business, and for whatever reason. And I have seen people literally quit and give up on their dreams to please someone else. So the loss of love. So these are, you might say, the soft, the inside obstacles that will keep you from growing and going to your full potential, to the things you want to do, be, and have. The external obstacles are really much easier to handle, because if you bring your level of personal development, your skills level, your knowledge level, your faith level, your confidence level to any external obstacle, you can overcome. When you look at the challenge, the obstacle in front of you, external obstacle in front of you, you come packing. You come with whatever is needed to overcome that obstacle. So the inside changes prepare you for outside obstacles. I'd like to kind of give you a formula of how to deal with obstacles. And number one, write it down. And even the soft skills, even those inside obstacles, many times we need to write them down. So for example, suppose the thing that's keeping you from building your business and moving forward in your life toward your dream is the fear of rejection, that you just can't take it, that when people tell you no, it hurts you to your core. So write that down. Write down a precise statement of the situation that you have to resolve. So it might be, I have to overcome the fear of rejection to be successful. I have to overcome the fear of failure to be successful. I have to overcome the fear of the loss of love to be successful. I have to overcome the changes in the marketing plan to be successful. I have to overcome my financial condition to be successful. And so, number one, to write it down. And number two, to analyze the situation. And when I say analyze it, look at it from all possible angles. You know, identify all aspects, paying close attention to those portions that can be resolved immediately and those portions which require further analysis. So let's continue with the fear of rejection. When you analyze the situation, you know, what is it that makes you feel so bad when people reject you? You know, and we often teach, you know, that when people say no, it's not to you, it's not to the messenger, it's to the message. They just don't want to be rich. They just don't want to be healthy. So analyze that situation and look at all aspects of that fear of rejection and how, what you can do about it. Third, look at all possible solutions. You know, write each possible solution as completely as possible. So let's say, for example, I have that fear of rejection. It's keeping me from picking up the telephone to make the number of calls I need to make to be successful in my business. Right? Well, what can happen? What are my options? Well, number one, quit. Quit the business. Quit always works when you want to kill your dreams. So that's an option, okay, to quit. Look at the next obstacle. Well, the other might be to, let me change my frame of reference. Let me really work on my inside and so that I realize that people are not rejecting me. They're just rejecting my product or my business, whatever message I'm conveying to them. 3, you know, maybe I need to get psychological help. Sometimes, you know, the fear of rejection can be so deep. Very often, we cannot solve a situation at the same level it was created. So it may be something back in your childhood where that rejection was so painful that you've carried that pain with you all this time. And so one solution might be to, you know, I need to get help. I need to go to a therapist and talk to them because I've got to be successful in this business. And no matter what I do, you know, this is an option. So once you list all the alternative solutions, then step 4 is to evaluate them. You know, to really go through, well, what if I just change my frame of reference? Okay, let's try that out. Well, if I went to a therapist and they delved into my background and into my childhood, evaluate all the possible solutions. And one of the interesting things about this process is as you begin to think it through and execute it through, you know, the universe is very interesting. You become magnetic for the solution to your obstacle. You become magnetic, attracting people and things into your space. The more psychic energy you put in resolving it, the more likely you are to overcome the obstacle. Number 5, you know, determine if your choice, your solution is a selfish one. You know, many times when people in our industry, we say, well, why did I get into network marketing? Well, because I want to build income for my family. I want to build a legacy, you know, for my children. I want to create something in my community that can help others. And so now, if I can't overcome this fear of rejection, that's not going to happen. So if I let the fear of rejection keep me from acting, I'm being very selfish because I'm depriving my children of a legacy. I'm depriving my community of some good things. Number 6, picture the consequences. And you know, when I look at some of the obstacles and the choices, the ways to handle that obstacle, what I find is when we go through this process, when we start that something happens that brings things into your space that will help you. When you begin to picture the consequences, so if I can't overcome this fear of rejection, then I'll have to get a job, continue working, and I often tell my friends I tried a job. I once even had 2, and man, both of them gave me gas and made me cough. And so jobs for me is not a solution because I can't generate the kind of income working on somebody else's dream that I can working on my own dream. Number 7, get advice, but make the decision your own. A part of that process of overcoming obstacles is to realize that we don't know everything. You know, when Albert Einstein has a flat tire, he finds somebody who knows how to fix tires. And so get advice. I mean, and advice from people who've been there. When you crash and burn, find somebody else who's crashed and burned and let them share with you how they were able to fly again. Number 8, stick to your decision. Once you've made a decision, so we're talking about that fear of rejection. Once you've made the decision, then don't quit. You start making the calls. You say, I don't care what happens. You set whether the solution might be, I'm going to make 10 calls, 20 calls between 9 and 11 today, and I'm not going to let myself get up from this table until I do it, and I don't care whether they curse me out or hang up. And then finally, number 9, put your decision into action immediately. Then once you've made a decision, don't fuddle around and say, okay, I'm going to get started on it next week. Get started on it now. So folks, how do you overcome obstacles? You overcome obstacles by changing your mindset. You overcome obstacles by looking at whether it's an obstacle from within, an obstacle from without. But most of all, you overcome obstacles by having total faith in your ability to do what you want to do, be what you want to be, and have what you want to have. You know, we have an impact on the world. Sometimes we may set out to do something and it's just not, it's almost like we want to be a hurricane. We want to change everything right away. And when that doesn't happen, we quit. You know, sometimes, you know, we say, well, I want to be a wave, then let me wash up on the shore and change the world that way. And maybe that doesn't work, and you quit. Sometimes you have to say, you know, I may be just a pebble in the lake, and watch my ripples go out from that pebble, from that center. The idea is you can overcome obstacles when you believe you can. When you have the faith in yourself that you can, and when you say to yourself, if it's to be, it's up to me. When you put that thought in action, that today is the most magnificent day of my life, health, wealth, happiness, love, success, prosperity, and money come to me in great abundance. When you believe it, when you feel it, you have the psychic energy to make the obstacles disappear. So go out today. Go out. Any obstacle that confronts itself, call it a situation and whack it down, knowing that it will make you stronger, knowing that it will make you smarter, knowing that each obstacle is a stepping stone to your success.